Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I am Kellie De Leon with Treasure Data, and we are partnering with CDO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Ghadi Hobeika, Managing Partner at Artefact. Welcome.
Thank you, Kelly.
You posted an article earlier this year called The 5 Most Pressing Challenges Chief Data Officers Currently Face. And since we're here talking with, CDO Magazine, that feels like a pretty relevant topic. So to set the stage for my next question, I just would love for you to kind of outline what those key challenges or pressing challenges were as you saw them.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, I highlighted 5 and God help them, I think they have even more than 5, but at least the top 5 to me were, first of all, not all organizations today understand what data governance is or what the job of a data officer, chief data officer should be. And it goes beyond governance, as a matter of fact. But I think outlining their scope, explaining their scope, and explaining how they can bring value to the business is still a bit of a challenge for some of them. So I think that was challenge number 1, and I heard it so many times during that conference. Number 2 is a chief data officer can achieve so much by himself. He still needs the help of many other constituents within the organization. So the business needs to be supportive, IT needs to be supportive, finance or the C-level as well. So breaking those silos and breaking those business silos and creating collaborations because data is such a transversal topic per se, is absolutely key for them. So they need to form alliances, they need to have sponsorship and support, and they need to be sort of working as a SWAT team or maybe a product team to be able to break those silos. I think number 3 was around data governance. It has been underlooked, but you and I have discussed it a little bit earlier in the conversation. It's costly, it's long, it's not always fun. It requires also business participation, but it's absolutely key. Like there's nothing that can scale without that. So again, I think it's finding the funding and finding the support, but also obtaining literally business attention and business support to move the data governance roadmap and agenda forward. As for many other positions in the market, the CDO has a talent challenge, and that's challenge number 4 that I highlighted. How do you attract talent and train talent? How do you retain them? And also, what do you do with them afterwards, like career development wise, career track wise? So there's a bit of work that has to go there. A lot of effort on the acquisition, but I would say even more on the retention, just like regular customers. And then number 5 was building that case for change, right? It's in a world where immediate ROI, immediate value is really requested. How do you ensure that you give them support, that you give them budgets, that you give them time to actually deliver on their roadmap? Because they're probably in a position where sometimes, or for some parts of their program, they won't be an immediate or very clear sort of return. So those were the 5 challenges that most of my the people I've talked to sort of highlighted.
Definitely some daunting things to tackle there for sure, and probably not going to get any easier in many ways as things continue to grow more complex. So in terms of thinking about the future, in addition to some of the things that you already mentioned, CDOs also have to be thinking, how do I future-proof my data strategy when I don't even totally know what's around the next corner and what's coming? So right. I'm interested to kind of talk about future-proofing the data strategy and maybe even where you see AI and machine learning kind of dovetailing with that future-proofing.
Yeah, it's true that it's a difficult role, as you say, because you have to deal with like fixing and enabling the short term, but also not losing edge of what's going to make a difference in a little bit longer term. And I think that a few CDOs are in a position to be truly innovative and spend a majority of their time doing that. Most of them are still a little bit sort of dealing with the foundational work, with the enablement, which is sort of at the basis. But listen, I think there's there's two things to me that are really quintessential to the CDO success long term and to support the company's goal and strategy as time goes on. I think number one is you said it. How do I embed AI, machine learning, and other more modern techniques into my ways of working, just to make sure that we're building more efficiencies, but also more innovation across the organization for the years to come. Because at the end of the day, if you're able to learn faster, give access to a growing number of people, to consumer insights, product insights, or even performance metrics within the organization, and help everyone make faster and better and more reliable decisions, you're actually helping your company deliver more and just perform better overall. So I think AI and ML, we've talked about it, enable many of these scenarios and many of these use cases. And obviously the CDO has to keep an eye on that and see in what areas that are core to the business and not peripheral, but truly core to what the business does, can AI and ML make an impact. I think number two is something that they should be doing alongside other people in the organization like HR, but truly focusing on building a data savvy or a data analytics culture within the organization. And that could mean anything from obviously training, upskilling, highlighting the importance of analytics to literally changing the way you hire people. Why don't you have them take data readiness or data savviness or analytics testing when you hire them? And that does not apply to everyone across the organization. And don't get me wrong, creativity, guts, and all these other things are as important. But today we might be underestimating the value of that as we hire new talent. And maybe the CDO could sort of be a factor of influence to continue to build up on that data analytics culture, because again, data is about people. If people do not adopt these products, if people do not adopt these capabilities, then you're just building things that nobody's going to be using, right? So I think that's the two areas in which I can see the CDO sort of future-proofing the success of his or her organization.
That's it's so important to think about, both the tools and the technology and the process, but making sure that you have the people that are going to be there and be engaged and using the data in the right way as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
important.
And critical to all projects. And I've been doing a number of obviously tooling implementations, a number of CDP implementations. Obviously, Treasure Data and us have had the opportunity to work together as well. But beyond the implementation, I think that a lot of the focus right now by clients is around training, upskilling, adoption, and that adoption mechanism is really super key. Like the highest the number of users, the highest the chances of success.
And truly getting those users to adopt it and use it and have a big number of them is how you get back to proving the ROI and the value to be able to do the next thing and the next thing, right?
Exactly.
So it all definitely feeds on each other. Well, one more question, kind of as we're talking about the future, just curious from your perspective and all of the things that you see across the data world, how will things like AI and machine learning and data science help data analytics to evolve? Where do you see things going in the near future, and what are the kinds of benefits that brands will see and should be, starting to power forward to get their hands around?
So listen, to me, data analytics is a really, really critical component, because those are the people in the organization that are supposed to be very analytical, but also super close to the business and to the business decision making. So I think they're the right interface between data and technology and actual business operations and delivery. So they're critical, and I think they're growing in numbers, which is great. They're upskilling, which is great. How does AI, machine learning, and data science help them? I think it helps them in 3 or 4 different ways. Number one, we have to have engineers that are building products that these data analysts can use to make sure that their work is a little bit more efficient, more automated, a little bit more standardized, and that they don't spend as much time just like proofing the data and checking quality and assembling it together. They just have ready-made products that they can use and start working from. So instead of investing 70% of their time on prep, they're investing 70% of their time on analysis and recommendations. I think this is number one. I think number two is they're going to be able to little by little incorporate more input, more sources, more data into their analysis. So it's going to increase the relevance of their analysis. It's going to increase the completeness of their analyses. And when they go back to their business counterparts, instead of telling him, but wait a second, have you taken this into account, or have you looked at the impact on operations or supply chain? They're going to be, yes, it's all looked at already. I got the data anyway, and my analysis is clean. So I think the relevance is going to be number two. And maybe finally, I would say that a good data analyst is not only someone who looks into the past and explains the past, but it's also someone who can help take the best decision for the future. So with machine learning, with artificial intelligence, you're going to be able to open up and enable predictive analytics, as we said, and do a lot of scenario modeling and scenario building, which is truly going to be helpful as you look into budget allocations and if you try to compare decisions or strategies. So I see AI and ML just augmenting the data analyst position, and not replacing it, because I guess that their connection understanding of the business and sort of the human touch or the human input into that is still going to remain key.
I What a great perspective on the future and the balance of how all of this will work together, and lots of exciting things to come. I feel like this is a space that will always be rapidly evolving and keeping us on our toes. But I think the rapid expansion of things like AI and machine learning just make it feel like we are exponentially accelerating what we can achieve. And it really is about bringing those insights and those facts into
Yeah.
our decision making. And I think it makes the internal experience of working in a business better when we can bring that data in. It makes the experience we can deliver for customers better. So it's an exciting future ahead, that's for sure. Well, that was my very last question. So I want to thank you so much, Ghadi, for joining me today. I really have enjoyed our conversation and learned so much from your perspective and your vision and the way that you are helping customers to really transform their organizations and transform the way that they can use data to deliver better customer experiences, to make marketing dollars stretch farther, to make their business insights help them transform their businesses. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Same here, Kelly. Thank you very much for your perspective on the business, the great conversation, and your thoughtfulness and thoroughness in asking and preparing those questions. So thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. So, and you can also visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews.